Welcome to the fundamental update for 29th of March 2026. If you're following the channel, you know I drop fundamental updates every single weekend, explaining what we should expect for the week and also explaining what happened in the previous week. I want you to pay close attention because I'll be giving you all a very important information in today's fundamental updates. We're going to be looking at our expectation for dollar, our expectation for Japanese yen, and also on the Australian dollar, because these are the three currencies I usually focus on when I'm having my fundamental update. Also, I'll throw in a little bit bonus for cryptocurrencies and the rest. Now, we all know what is happening already in the market, which is the Middle East conflict, right? The war that is going on is affecting dollar positively and is affecting what the Japanese yen negatively, right? Also, the Australian dollar was bullish but now is bearish, and I'll be explaining why that happened. And in today's fundamental update, like I said earlier, I will explain something very important in which you should have in mind, even though you don't use fundamental updates, even though you use technicals, but you should always have this in mind. Now, let's go straight into it. Last week, we saw that dollar was still bullish, and why did this happen is because of the Middle East conflict was still going on, and on Friday, we had another attack on Iran. You understand? Trump said that they should actually keep this war on a break, and that was what made dollar a bit bearish starting the week. We could see on Monday we saw a little bit of bearish movement on dollar, and we saw something like a bullish rise on Euro USD starting of the week. We saw a very huge spike on Euro USD upward, and we saw, most of these currencies, they were actually giving us a good spike, a retracement, which I'll call a retracement to the upside, because Euro USD still look pretty much bearish to me. So it looks like a retracement. Why? Because Trump said that they should keep the war on a break, but Iran and Israel, they did not listen. They still want to continue the war. They still want to go on with the conflict that was happening. So Trump words did not really move the market. Why? Because the war still continued. And we all know what is happening in this war. If you've been following my fundamental updates, you understand that I said this war is currently affecting oil price, and oil price increasing makes dollar bullish because oil is being bought in dollar. I wouldn't go into any further explanation. By now, everyone following my fundamental update should know. So that is why dollar was bearish on Friday, because during the war attack, oil price increased again. Let us look at oil, right? Oil is US oil. You can search it up. You will see that oil price is increasing while the conflict is going on. So now this conflict is affecting the price of oil and is making dollar to be bullish, also making the Australian dollar as well to be bullish. Why? Because inflation is increasing in these two currencies, and due to the fact that inflation is increasing, they want to hike interest rate. Investors are now moving their money into the dollar, into the Australian dollar. You understand? Now gold has been selling. Why? Because the investors are removing their money from gold because it's not really their focus anymore. Since dollar is bullish, inflation is increasing in dollar, the economy is actually doing well. They don't see any reason to bring interest rate on a pause or cut interest rate. Investors left gold and focused on dollar. You can see this is US oil, and you can see on Friday we had a massive push to the upside. But there's something I want you all to understand, which is the thing I said you all should pay close attention, because that's what you'll be learning in this fundamental update. The market have surprises, right? When the news is recently reported or when it's recently released, this is what is called the surprise. And you can see when the news recently started on the Middle East conflict, you can see oil hiked all the way to the top. That was when it was recently released. That is a surprise to the market. Markets react to surprise, but market has a limitation to every surprise reaction. Market has a limitation to every surprise, which means that this surprise will not last for long. And you can see currently the market has been ranging, not because of the surprise is over, but because of, market has been indecisive with the whole war. Sometimes the war will be called on a pause, sometimes the war will continue. So this thing has been making oil price range a bit. And on Friday we got another bullish push, but this time it wasn't really as huge as this particular one. Why? Now this is simply because the surprise is over. It's no more a surprise for investors. And I want you to understand that a particular point will reach, investors will start taking profit. This is simply the concept which is called buy the rumor, sell the fact. I wouldn't go into any further details. If you want to really understand this, you know what to do. You have to go for the macroeconomics course. So now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that dollar has been bullish, but it wouldn't be bullish for too long. That is the point I'm trying to make. Australian dollar, you understand that Australian dollar was affected positively by the war, right? Oil price increasing means Australian dollar was increasing. But if you notice, AUD JPY started selling. AUD JPY started selling. We're looking for buys on AUD JPY. But what happened? The surprise was over. And this made AUD JPY to start selling. Not only that, we can see GBP AUD started buying. Now, a lot of you said, oh, maybe my analysis was wrong. My analysis was not wrong. We just entered a little bit too late. Do you understand? Now, this is AXY. AXY just stands for Australian dollar currency. You understand? So this is AUD itself. Now, AUD has been rising since the war. You can see this is the rise. This was when it was a surprise to the market. A point reached, this news was no more a surprise. It reached its highest peak, which was this. And after that, investors started taking profit. Why? Because even though oil price is still increasing, it's no more a big deal. We know that AUD is bullish. Investors has already made their good profit, and the rumor is already over. Now they are selling the fact. And that is why most times when a currency has been bullish for too long and you're about to enter, you find out that it takes you out. Why? Because you are actually entering when the rumor is over. So that is why it's called buy the rumor, sell the fact. Do you understand? Now investors are no more, moved by this news. It's no more a surprise to them. You can see that AUD is now going all the way down. Will this thing keep selling? Yes, because it's no more a big news to the market. Rather, it's no more a surprise to the market. You understand? Now, the market investors are looking for the next big news. And the next big news, which might happen, might be the war will be called to a pause, or the war might come to an end. And that is why we saw gold, which is supposed to continue selling. On Friday, gold did not really sell much. Now, am I saying you should go and start buying gold? No, that's not what I'm saying. Am I saying you should go and start selling dollar? No. I'm just saying that you should be cautious, because the news, the surprise is already over. All this sell that happened on gold is the main news, right? If you're someone that is looking for a sell now, it might be a little bit too late to find a sell on gold now, except if you're a scalper. But if you're someone that is saying, oh, gold will reach this point and it will continue selling, you might actually be at the wrong side, because gold might actually start buying from here, because the surprise is already over, right? I hope you get my point. Now, what will make gold buy? Gold might not actually buy now, but the next surprise that might make gold buy is if the war is called to a pause, or the war has come to an end, you might see gold start buying, right? So if you're someone who trades based on fundamentals, sometimes it's good to stay aligned with fundamentals, because you will not know the next big news until the next big news happens. Don't get me wrong, the next big news can also make gold to still sell massively. Do you understand? Because investors now need something else that is good enough. You might see a news like, okay, the war have come to an end. After the war is being come to an end, the next thing you can see, Iran declared another war on Israel, and the next thing you see gold will sell massively, because that's another big surprise. After they called the war to an end, why would they call another war? You understand? So the market always looking for the next big surprise. And if the market has already priced in like this, it might be a little bit too late jumping in on this type of move. That's why I said you should pay close attention, because I just taught you something. I just taught you a huge concept which has to do with fundamentals. So in crypto, we call this buy the rumor, sell the fact. You can also call it you buy where people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. Do you understand? That's why we have the fear and greed index. For my crypto student, they'll know what I'm talking about. Fear and greed index. But what I'm trying to say is that Euro USD might actually start ranging. If we're looking at Euro USD, I'm not saying Euro USD will start buying. No, Euro USD might actually start ranging. Let's go back to the one day time frame and see what this looks like. You can see, if we're looking at this based on technicals, Euro USD has reached a key level. Do you understand? Now, before market breaks this key level, we need a surprise in the market. the war going on is no more a surprise to the markets. So markets might actually just start ranging at this zone. Maybe when the war is called off, you might see a very big news, or maybe when another big surprise comes in, you might see markets sell further. But for now, Euro USD is weakened. That's all I can tell you. Euro USD is no more, possibility of it selling massively might no more happen based on the war, but anything can surprise the market. Just have that at the back of your mind. So that's just what I wanted to share with you all. And we can see that Euro USD sold a bit. NZD USD also sold this week, right? Actually had a position on this NZD USD, but I wasn't triggered. What a very, very sad. This was my entry on NZD USD, but unfortunately I wasn't triggered, right? Based on my broker, but based on trading view, you can see it actually went well, but based on my broker, it wasn't triggered. Now I don't like crying over spilled milk. I wouldn't beat myself up. I just started looking for the next opportunity. Do you understand? But this was a good entry based on the conflict that was happening. The war has already priced into the news. You understand? The market has already priced into the news, and you can see it might actually keep selling because USD is still strong for now. But when a new big surprise comes in, you might see a huge volatility will kick in and markets might go up. I'm saying might because there is no surprise yet. But when a big surprise comes in, you should be careful. Do you understand? But for now, dollar is still strong. Dollar is still bullish. So that's just simply it. USD CHF, let's see if there's any move that happened this week. USD CHF, I think it was just ranging throughout this week. I don't think there was anything. Oh, a move happened. And you can see from this area, market just swept liquidity. Right? Market swept liquidity. For those who use FVG as their entry, this would have been a very, very good entry. After market swept liquidity, you took your trade from the FVG, and that was a very nice one. I was actually waiting for market to tap on this blue zone, but you can see this period market hasn't really been getting to my zone. This was my entry, this particular level here. This was where I was waiting for the market to trigger before I actually send the signal to my signal channel. But unfortunately, market did not get to that level, so I missed it. I don't like crying over spills milk again, so that is it. But I know I will still catch opportunity this week or next month. You understand? I will still see more opportunity in the market. This is just the beginning of the year. So for those who are beating themselves up already, be careful. Just be patient. Market will always give you more opportunity. I don't get carried away by one opportunity. There are so many opportunities in the market. Do you understand? So many opportunity. So that is just simply it. We USD CHF keep buying. Possibly might keep buying this week, but just be careful because the market now needs another big surprise for it to keep being volatile. And the next big surprise, we can see USD CHF has actually almost reached the key level. So you should just be careful because the way I'm seeing dollar might actually not be bullish for too long. Dollar might not be bullish for too long. I'm waiting for a fundamental update before I declare yes dollar will not be bullish. But for now, I'm saying might because there's no fundamental update yet that is saying this, right? That's just simply it. Now for Japanese yen, I want you to understand that Japanese yen is already bullish, but USD JPY is just stubborn. USD is stubborn because USD is the base currency and USD is leading USD JPY. But you can see CAD JPY is at a key level. And why do I say Japanese yen is already bullish? Because now I want you to understand that the Japanese economy has been they have been having a little bit of weakness. Let's go over to the Japanese pair, right? JPY. You can see that they have been having a little bit of weakness throughout this year and even throughout last year. Do you understand? But now they are calling for intervention. Now that intervention means that this currency might actually pick up strength anytime soon. Anytime soon, this currency will pick up strength because they are seeing reasons to hike interest rates too as well. Investors might soon start pouring in money into this currency, and you might see something like this. From here, you can see something like a bullish rise. This is just based on expectations. Do you understand? But for now, it's still bearish. But based on expectations, if you ask me, I expect JPY to be bullish very, very soon. I tweeted this on my X account, and I'll also send this to my students. Look out because CAD JPY might start selling very soon. USD JPY might start selling very soon. AUD JPY is already selling, honestly. So that is just simply it. But the war still continues, and Trump wants to call it on a pause. If Trump succeeds on calling that war off, dollar might actually start selling. But for now, dollar is still bullish. CAD-JPY, you can see CAD-JPY has been selling. Why? Because in economy, the market is already bored of the news of AUD picking up. AUD, we already know AUD is bullish, you understand? And this is just what I'm seeing in the market. For now, this is neutral, but if market gets to that level, I might actually start looking for a sell entry. Do you understand? So that is just my outlook. You can see the bullish trend is exhausted. This was the the last high investors gave before they started selling and taking profit on AUD. Do you understand? But JPY is strong and AUD might possibly just be neutral. So JPY might start picking up strength based on AUD. So that is simply it. Let's look at our economic calendar before we call it a day. Let's see that. All right, so let's go here. All right, so our economic calendar, no, let's go all the way to Saturday. Apply setting. No, I want from here to here. Yes, apply setting. All right, you can see all these news are not really important. These are the news we have last week. Not really important. CPI for AUD came out negative, and that was why AUD started selling, because inflation rate is now dropping. Unemployment rate for dollar came out neutral, and bank holiday, all these ones, they're not really important because they're not investors focus. You have to focus on investors focus alone. Do you understand? So that's just simply it for this week. In case you have any question, make sure to ask me. Let us go over to gold and see some analysis on crypto pairs and the rest. So let's go back to the crypto pairs. BTC USD, what do you expect from BTC USD? During times of economic uncertainty, if dollar is bullish, BTC will be bearish. It's as simple as that, because USD is the quoted currency. So that was why BTC has been selling. But if the economy now, let's say the war should end and USD start becoming bearish, BTC should start rising. But for now, I wouldn't say you should be looking at anything. Just be looking for sales, because for now sales are still happening. Even on ETH USD, dollar is picking up, so that is why ETH USD is bearish. Do you understand? That's just simply what has been happening in the market. Nothing serious, nothing there. So that is about it. If you have any question, make sure to ask me. For now, make sure to trade with good risk management, and also make sure to understand fundamental updates, because fundamentals is what actually moves the market. Investors put their money in pairs that they feel will do well, and they remove their money from pairs that they feel wouldn't do well. It's as simple as that. That being said, have a lovely trading week ahead.